What's going on, guys? I'm Connor McCaskill, bringing you the very first episode of Mini Review. No fluff, just stuff. Let's get into it. Today I'm going to go over the A7iii. It's a camera that came out just a little bit ago. It's actually a pretty decent camera. First thing to know about this camera is the price point. Just the body is $2,000, which of course sounds very steep for anyone just trying to get into it. However, I really think this is a fair price. If you want to buy it with the lens, it's actually $2,200, which again is steep, but for everything this camera is, it's a good price. The biggest and most obvious great thing about it is that it's a 24 megapixel full frame 6K sensor. So what it's doing is it's actually taking a 6K image and then shrinking it down to 4K, which means you're getting a better 4K. So that's awesome. Another thing to know about this camera is the screen. It is a weird flippy screen. Again, Sony is giving us these weird screens. There's no flip out screen. Major bummer. Wish they would add that, but oh well. Something else pretty impressive about this camera is actually its autofocus. It's got 693 autofocus points, which is insane to think about. I'm pretty sure the M50 has 143 in comparison, although they're not really comparable cameras, but it's amazing. It's really, really fast, fairly responsive, face detect, eye detect, it's all great. I quickly compared it to the M50, which the M50 might be a little bit better with the dual pixel autofocus from Canon, which is to be expected, but honestly, autofocus, Sony, good job. Something that Sony's known for is their low light, and the A7iii is no exception. I did an ISO test with the A7iii compared to the M50. I shot in a room with no windows, 6400 ISO, and as you can see, the A7iii held way more information than the M50, which is to be expected, of course. It held everything pretty well. Honestly, this is very usable footage, so that's good. This camera has really good dynamic range. I took the camera outside and shot in a shadowed area with the bright sunny sky behind me, and it actually held the clouds and the blue from the sky really well. And it's very noticeable when you show the M50 footage right next to it and the information in the sky is just gone. Color is something that Sony has always struggled with. I did a brief test with just kind of like a neutral profile and a flatter profile just to compare it to a Canon camera, and it's not bad. It's definitely an improvement, and it's great to see Sony finally kind of figuring out color. This camera comes with, boom, dual card slots. The dual card slot is essential in the professional world, and it is amazing to have it here. Kind of a weird thing, this camera does not have a time-lapse feature. I don't know why it wouldn't be included. I guess they could include it with a update. We'll just have to wait and see, but as of right now, there is no in-camera time-lapse feature. You would have to do it manually. And the last thing that I'm gonna talk about anyways is the slow motion. The slow motion in this camera, 120 frames per second at 1080, it's good. It's not amazing, but it's definitely good. Compared to other cameras in its price range, and especially compared to my M50, which can only shoot 720p at 120 frames, honestly, this camera is really great. And the 60 frames a second is of course amazing as well, 1080. Anyways, guys, that does it for the A7iii mini review. Overall, this camera is great. $2,000 is well worth the price of what this camera is doing. It is definitely a good contender in the market. It'll be interesting to see in the next few months with Photokina and all these other events coming out how this camera will hold up in the future. As of right now, the Sony A7iii is good. Anyways, guys, I'm Connor McCaskill. This has been a mini review. Thanks for hanging.